Well, good morning to you, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning coming live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. I want to thank all my loyal viewers for being with me here this morning. I know it's 7:15 a.m. here on the East Coast of the United States, but I just got to chime in real quick. The Toronto Raptors have fired Dwane Casey as head coach. And you know the sad part about it is, in 6 to 7 years, the Raptors improved. And I mean, the Raptors had 59 wins, a franchise record. They've improved in their 6 to 7 seasons under the Toronto Raptors. He has really turned the team around. Good morning, Jeremy. How are you this morning? Good to see you this morning, my friend. But anyway, now Dwane Casey has one more year left on his contract, which is worth $6.5 million. Toronto Raptors president Masai fired Casey after 2 very bad seasons, after two straight sweeps of the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm not very happy about it because the Raptors have really improved. Okay, grant you that the Cavs have swept the Raptors in 2 straight years, but 59 wins, a franchise record. They've improved in 6 to 7 seasons. He really turned that team around. And he won Coach of the Year. And what does he get for winning Coach of the Year? A slap in the face by Raptors upper management. It makes me sick even thinking about it. So Masai, president, Bobby Webster, the general manager, you two ought to be ashamed of yourselves for what happened. This is your fault. Okay, you guys got swept by the Cleveland Cavaliers. I grant you, by LeBron James. But how disappointing it is. This makes me sick. I mean, Kyle Lowry, he said that Dwane Casey was the best coach he ever played under. And he was a mentor and a friend. DeMar DeRozan, he was very disappointed about the Raptors upper management firing him. He's actually considered leaving. And it's a disappointment. And even Boston Celtics coach Brad Stevens said it's a very disappointing day. It's sad. He was one of the greatest coaches, he was one of the best coaches that the Toronto Raptors ever had. He turned that team around. And even Cavaliers coach Tyronn Lue even took a few minutes and said, it's sickening. Look what he did for that team and that organization. It's stupid. It's very dumb. And Jeremy Schaefer, thank you, sir. It's stupid and it's sad. I don't know what the deal is. The Raptors proved to me that they were one of the best teams. Okay, they got swept by Cleveland. Even Stephen A. Smith of ESPN even said this should have never happened. And this is going to be one of the rare times I will agree with Stephen A. I'll say this. The Raptors management should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen. There was no reason why one of the best coaches in the NBA, who got Coach of the Year, which was voted on by 30 of the NBA coaches in the league, this should have never happened for no reason whatsoever. So the question is, what's next for Dwane Casey? Well, the Detroit Pistons offer. The Detroit Pistons head coaching vacancy may be filled by him. He may be going to Detroit. We don't know that for sure. But now, what's going to happen to the Toronto Raptors? How disappointing it must be. Dwane Casey took that team from cellar dwellers to where they're at now. They got the number 1 seed in the NBA playoffs. They got the overall number 1 seed. I grant you. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. They got swept by the Cavaliers in back-to-back years. But did Dwane Casey deserve to be fired? No. In my opinion, no. In the opinion of Brad Stevens, no. Tyronn Lue, no. Stephen A. Smith, no. So there's 4 or 5 no's right there. I think the Raptors president, Masai, needs his brain examined. And Bobby Webster I think both of them should be ashamed of themselves. There is no reason why this should have never happened. And I'll say it again. Whoever the next head coach of the Toronto, I'm going to say it now. Whoever the next coach of the Toronto Raptors is going to be, they're going to have some major shoes to fill. And that's all there is to it. Because Dwane Casey was the best thing that ever happened to the organization. And yes, I said it. He was the best thing that ever happened to the organization. He won Coach of the Year, for crying out loud. So, whoever gets Dwane Casey now is going to be in much better shape than they were before. The Pistons were a disappointment. Now maybe he can turn that team around. But I'm going to say it again. This firing should have never happened. There was no reason for it. And I think the Raptors organization, the upper management, they should be ashamed of themselves for allowing this to happen. And that's all I got to say. And thank you, Jeremy, for giving me the like this morning, my man. I'm glad we were happy to subscribe. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I'm going to talk about this more in depth on my Facebook show, Scott Manning Facebook Sports Talk Live, this morning here at 9 o'clock a.m. on my Facebook page. Just type down Scott Manning, look for this beautiful face, and I'll be going live in about an hour and a half. At 9 a.m., I'm going to talk about the Cleveland Indians. I'm going to talk more about the Dwane Casey termination. I'm going to be talking about the Philadelphia 76ers and more sports stories throughout the day. But I want to thank you guys for tuning in this morning. This is Scott Manning saying have a great day. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you, and have a wonderful day. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you.